What's going on, everyone? Wacka here, welcoming you back for our semis game versus Bage um in SDS. Um, God, I never, I didn't even think I'd make it to playoffs with this team after losing like what 4 battles in a row. But we made it. We made it to semis. Um, we're up against Bage, who I think is the guy who probably had like the best matchup versus me. Kinda. It's a really weird matchup because I a hard struggle versus like his flying types, and I don't really have the best switch in to his Diancie. Um, and he decided to bring Jirachi this time and Rillaboom, leaving Glowbro and he left Glowbro and Guzzlord in the back, and I brought out the Hydreigon and the Vaporeon over, I think, Heliolisk and Sandslash. I think this is the game I brought Sandslash to. It makes sense because it takes a hit from like anything not called Rotom Wash. Um, so he had the Guzzlord and uh, Glowbro in the back. I think he had Lickitung and Crook in the back too. But I don't think he was ever gonna bring Crocodile versus like Mega Scizor and like Vaporeon or even Galarian Weezing. Crook just can't touch Weezing at all, and then I get off like free T spikes or whatever. Um, I will say though, my prep here though is not very good. And apparently he says his wasn't either, which so I guess that's kind of it goes both ways for us. Um, my Dio did um this I was gonna bring like rocks or spikes, but for whatever reason I brought Taunt. And before the battle I was trying to figure out what I was going to change. I changed one of my items. I think Hydreigon was Expert Belt. I changed it to Chocolberry because um I wanted to take a close combat from Gyapdos and do massive damage back with the I'm gonna do a lot of damage back with fucking what you call it uh Bullet Punch with Mega Scissor. Um, and Scissor's running. Well, actually, let's start with Torn. Torn is running Wide Lens because it's running Hurricane and Iron Tail. Iron Tail for the Diancie, and then U-turn knockoff. Um, I'm not Boots, so rocks are kind of annoying for me, but I also have Vaporeon to keep Wish passing into Torn if needed. Um, And Torn is a really good pivot in this battle. Like, it's not super threatened by anything, and it doesn't really care if it's burned as long as Diancie's dead or kind of low. So that's nice. And then Scizor is Bullet Punch, U-turn, Toxic, Roost. The Toxic is to try to catch the Talonflame on the switch in. Unfortunately, I think I failed, but you'll see. And then Hydreigon is Choppleberry with Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, Flash Cannon, and Roost. Deoxys Defense is Teleport, Recover, Nightshade, Taunt. Vaporeon is Scald, Wish Protect, Heal Bell, and Galarian Weezing is Sludge Wave. No, it's Sludge Bomb, Strange Steam, Defog, and Flamethrower? Or it was Toxic. I don't remember. It might have been Flamethrower. I think it was probably Flamethrower. So that is our team, and this is a very, very long battle. Although there's not really too much to say about this battle though. Like, for the most part, it's just going through each other and trying to break each other's like defenses. So I guess let's just get started. So I decided to lead off Hydreigon because I figured he probably wouldn't lead Diancie. I thought he might lead like Jirachi or Rotom or Talonflame to try to catch the turn 1 Mega Scizor. Um, I figured he might try to. He could lead Rillaboom, try to get Terrain, or he could just lead off like the Scarf Zapdos or the Ban. I thought it was gonna be Banded Gyarados, and take the CC. I don't actually think I took the close combat. Now I think about it, I don't know. I really don't know. So he leads Diancie, and he tries to catch my double, I believe. So he goes into Jirachi. I just get off my Mega Evolution because I figured he'd probably get up like rocks. I thought he'd go into Talonflame actually, but he decides to just get off rocks, and as he gets off a giant Fire Punch. So I know Scissor is only safe on Jirachi like once if it's above like 75% per se. So that's good information to know. So I bring in Deoxys, and I tried to bait a U-turn, so I decided to just teleport out into Weezing. I don't know why I went into Weezing. I could have just went into Scissor. As he gets up a sub, and I wasn't sure if he's like sub SD, so I decided to Sludge Bomb. And it just turns out he's just sub Leech Seed, which was actually a very good prep on his part, because Rillaboom is very annoying to take out if it's not. And I should have been like neutralizing gas in this battle, to be honest. But yeah, we make some misplays. So I go into Mega Scissor, and I figure I should be slower. So I'm just gonna U-turn out from the Rillaboom and then come in with Torn and then click knockoff on something. Which is the Rotom Wash, and then I U-turn. I think, did I go Hydra? I did go Hydra. He decides to click Toxic, and then for whatever reason, he just kind of sacks the Rotom. I don't know if he thought I was Scarf, but like if I was Specs, this wouldn't have mattered. However, though, this world did actually matter. It should have lived with like 15% left. So I feel kind of bad that his Rotom died so early, but I guess that's just kind of what happens when you make this kind of play instead of just going into like Diancie. Because I don't think there's any play in the world where I would have clicked Flash Cannon on a Rotom Wash. But yeah, we make those plays. He goes into Diancie though, and he gets off his free Mega Evolution. I actually figured he'd click Mystical Fire, but because I thought he would click Mystical Fire, that would be like my only reason to go Torn. But I thought at this point he would assume I had Iron Tail if I'm going Torn at all on his Diancie. So I U-turn out, but he actually stays in. So I go Scissor because I figured he kind of has the Diamond Storm now. But that's okay, because I figured he'd probably go into like Talonflame. But Vaporeon should always be safe as long as it's not Toxic Talonflame. Toxic Talonflame would have been really annoying here. But I'm pretty sure it's Flamethrower, U-turn, Defog, Roost, or something like that. So I Scald the Rillaboom. At some point we're gonna get into the loop where it's just like Mega Scissor versus, it's just like Mega Scizor and Vaporeon versus like Talonflame, Rillaboom, and Jirachi. But anyways, Scizor's pretty much always safe. I think I get off a Roost here. Yeah, I do. And Scizor's pretty much back up to full, which is very nice. He gets up his rocks with Jirachi as I go into Vaporeon. He goes into Rillaboom. I think this is where I get the Scald Burn. Yep. It was only kind of a matter of time before I got a Scald Burn on this thing, which really doesn't matter too much. Because it's not grassy terrain anymore, and then so Grassy Glide's not doing anything to Vape, but you know, you might as well go into Scizor and like click buttons. I decided to go Torn, because I didn't really care too much if he got the burn. I was just gonna U-turn and like heal Bell with Vaporeon, which I think I pull out pretty soon. Um, as we kind of just play around each other. Rillaboom's really annoying, but I'm not really too worried about it since it's burned and its grassy terrain is allowing me to stay healthy too. With Vaporeon, like getting pretty much 25% each turn if I like protect is pretty great. I guess he didn't bring knockoff, but if he didn't bring knockoff, it wouldn't have been U-turn. I think he needed U-turn in this battle. Um, so we kind of just play around here with Scizor and Rillaboom. Scizor should always beat Rillaboom. So I just decided to U-turn on Rilla and then go into Torn. No, I go into Weezing. Why did I do that? Did I defog? I must have defogged. Yeah, I suppose I defogged. Really the only thing Weezing does in this battle is give off the pressure on like Zapdos and Rillaboom, but his Rillaboom set does actually beat me. So at this point I'm just kind of wish stalling Diancie. I don't, how much PP does all his moves have? Diamond Storm has 6 PP. Okay. Or it has 8 PP normally. So I go into Dio. Like, Dio, it really doesn't do anything in this battle, because I guess I just made it so it doesn't do anything. But I guess it was pretty good for scouting the Zapdos, and I find out here that it is Scarf. I guess because he said he was scared of Scarf Hydreigon. Which I guess makes sense, because once like Jirachi goes down, I can just kind of Scarf Flash Cannon at everything. Excuse me. Because at that point it's only switching to like Scarf Flash Cannon and Talonflame. So I go into Dio and teleport back out into Torn, and then U-turn into Vape. And yeah, this battle is just kind of boring. But yeah, it's just kind of a long battle. I'm just gonna put it on fast for right now because we're at the point in the battle where it's just kind of us pivoting around each other, like the same crap over and over. Oh, is this where it happens? So I go into Vape. Oh, okay, so I figured out this. I clicked Protect for extra HP, and to kind of scout if you have like Toxic or something for me. So I found out he has Terrain Pulse. So I think I went into Torn, because I think he's gonna Mystical Fire at that point. Yep. I didn't see him clicking Diamond Storm and expecting, because I think he'd be more scared of a Bullet Punch Scissor coming in than an Iron Tail Torn. I am Wide Lens though, and I get rid of the Diancie. So now at this point, I think I've tilted Bage. And I think he keeps kind of saying, "Oh, GG's," and I'm like, well, no, I can still kind of throw. I mean, honestly, looking back at this, like, I don't really see how I could really lose this with like, I still have a good sack with Dio. Like, I guess really all Dio did in this battle is kind of quick teleport and scout out some of his sets. So I mean, that was nice. Dio actually lives the hit though, surprisingly, but it was either that or I sacked something else. And like, I could have sacked Weezing, but I also figured I could probably defog at some point. So I decided to, I think, Pain Split. Get a little bit healthier with that. Talonflame has to Flamethrower because it's really all it does in this battle. He goes back into Gyapdos, and I just wish, and then I protect. And then I think I stayed in here because I wanted to see the damage, and it didn't really do that much. It kind of killed itself before it kills me. So I don't really have any reason to just stay in with Vape and click Scald. As long as I can preserve enough Scald PP to beat out Talonflame and Drachi, and yeah, this is where Bage just kind of says GG. He's not really just letting me win though. Um, he really can't win this, but I also don't really have like a short answer to just winning because I really didn't bring a win con to this battle. Um, I could have literally brought anything over Deoxys, but I guess Deoxys was good in the sense where I still scouted out the Gyarados. Um, if I had brought like, I don't know, Toxic on Dio, that could have been okay. So I decided to Bullet Punch the Zapdos, and for whatever reason, I thought it'd kill me, and I thought this would have killed me too. I was ready to let go of my Scissor here. I didn't really think I needed it too much, but I guess I still kind of needed it, huh? So I Bullet Punch, and then I realized I can live the hit, so I can boost up too. So that's cool. I get to keep Scissor around. He really can't kill Scizor and Vaporeon. So he Fire Punches, and then I figure out that I'm actually slower than him. I was hoping Dark Pulse was going to do more. I should have maybe just clicked Draco. But I also want to get rid of Jirachi, because I wanted to be able to win with just Vaporeon and Torrentee. Or Vaporeon and Scizor if I needed to, but yeah. But though at this point, Weezing is also sackable, but here I just sack up Hydreigon. I was gonna try to Wish Pass into it because I thought he'd click Glide, or like Leech Seed, but I guess not. That was kind of a misplay on my part, but I do get the burn off on Jirachi now that everything he has is either burned or it's like just Talonflame. That's definitely good for me. Unfortunately, I miss Hurricane and he gets off a Roost, which is really unfortunate actually because at this point, Torrentee would have just won the battle with just like Hurricane knockoff. And the battle could have ended right here, but the battle goes on like another 30 turns with just Vaporeon and Scizor just clicking U-turn, Wish, Scald, Roost, and I guess Torrentee also kind of had a part in the end. Although Torrentee doesn't really get too much anywhere. I think it ended up killing the. I think it ended up actually killing the Drachi. He like I think he Wish passed on the Talonflame. So I decided to just U-turn. He gets his Wish back. The Talonflame. However, he's clicking Wish a lot faster than I'm clicking Wish. So I know I have a lot more longevity. Especially because I also have Protect to just kind of stall out a turn. I feel kind of bad that this is kind of the way I have to win a lot of my battles, like Wish, Protect, Scald with Vaporeon. But it is what it is. U-turns with the Jirachi. Jirachi's pretty much dead. And even Rillaboom is getting kind of low, but because terrain is up and I also don't really want to stay in on this, he ends up getting a lot of HP back. Yeah, he Leech Seeds again. And then, yeah, I think, yeah, Talonflame was safe. This is when I figure out, oh, Hurricane's not even two-shotting Talonflame, so, I have to actually play around these last few months. Oh, Jesus, this is such a long battle. I think overall this battle lasted probably like 50 minutes. It didn't really feel like that long. I was just kind of vibing with my music. And then I missed Hurricane. Unfortunately, I don't know how, but I hit like two Hurricanes that are above 75% accurate because I am wide lens, but I still end up missing all these Hurricanes. Thanks Torn T for being like the most useful thing ever. So Torn just kind of kills Jirachi here, and I'm like, well, it is kind of over, but he could roost still. He actually decides to U-turn. So I know if I can get back in Torn, I should be able to win. Um, but the thing is, getting in Torn is a little bit hard at this point, because I take a lot of rocks damage, and I'm kind of chipped. So I end up clicking Toxic on Talonflame, I go into Vaporeon, he roosts, and I think, does he, I don't know. It's just kind of the same battle. Like, this is his wall core right here. This is really all he needs. So he decides to sub, and then I think I U-turn. Yeah, I U-turn back into Vape. And then I think, um, oh, I thought no, I'm remembering turns wrong. Okay, so this is where he forfeits, because he finally just decides to give up. If he had done this like turn 50, this would have been like the same result. Vaporeon and Vaporeon claims his last two kills versus Rillaboom Talonflame. So that's cool. I think Vape gets these two kills. Scizor gets this kill, Hydra gets this one, and then Torn gets these two. And that is our semis game. And GG's to Bage. Um, I feel kind of bad that this battle had to be triple digits in turns, but that's kind of how this team has to win. And hopefully next season I won't have a team that's so fat because I don't know, I just don't really have a win con with this team. I have like Heliolisk and then Torn, Scizor, Hydra, and the rest is just fat. And you can argue Torn and Scizor are also just kind of fat. So it's really just like the High Dragon is like the win con of my team, and it really hasn't been doing that great at doing that because I don't think I have a really good team for High Dragon. Um, but yeah, GG's to Bage. Next week we face either TRK or DJ Barrera. Um, I hope I face TRK again because that was a really good matchup for me. Um, yeah, and I'll see you guys next week.